Good evening, and this is Noreen McClendon, and I am your facilitator and your host, and we are Free to Heal. And we are a support group. We come together every week so we can heal from the wounds and scars that our interaction with mass incarceration have left on all of us. We have a very big focus on us being better people. And so we come together every week. I try to impart information that I can think each of us heal to help us heal things, give us a different perspective on things. Okay, I want to start off. Like I said, I want to talk about growth, and I would like for people to acknowledge their growth in their life, to experiences that you do have. So today, I had an experience. I got a phone call about my grandson. When I hear grandson and I ask the person on the phone, where are you? They tell me I'm 27. So in my mind, I'm just trying to get to 27. Just because in my other part of my brain was saying, why is my son on 27? Okay, but let me get to him. But then you tell me something else. You say, my daughter said when he was getting off the elevator, he was mad dogging and my son. I asked him, do we have a problem with me or with my son? And my grandson responded, said, no, I didn't. But since you said that, yes, I do. Okay, but what I'm talking about by growth is my life experience, things I've been through with my own children, with myself, and where I know this can lead you from today can start something, a chain reaction for you. But my growth, I know what to do now. So what did I do? I sat back, I thought about it. Yeah, the left side of my brain was like, fuck it, man. Fuck it. Because what you talking to him for? Fuck it. But no, I said, die, no, that's just ain't right. Because I know this don't leave, baby. They got a penitentiary for you. They got a grave site for you. Because this can go up. Because you didn't call people. You called someone to fight my grandson. You said, but did my grandson come down like he was with the information? Yes, he did. But am I going to let him fight? No, I'm not. That's my growth. That's mine personally. That's mine. Because the old guy that moved out the way, like, fuck it, go ahead, man. Move out, everybody move back. Go ahead, Sean, do your shit. I would have said all that and plus son. I need to stop. But I didn't do that. That's my friend. And that's exactly what she would have done in the past. I'm not serious. I didn't like I could hear. Yes, I would have said her. Go ahead. Do it, man. Go ahead. And, well, can I also say this? There's something you said to me today in the midst of this that was so powerful. You said to me, they don't know I lost a baby. They don't know. They don't know. That I got a son. But sit with the kids down 20-some years, man. Man, this is not that right there. That old me. I played a lot of parts in that shit, and I'm sorry for that. I explained it. If I can't tell Shantae, I'm sorry, but I can tell Keon, I'm sorry, and I told him. But I learned from that. So today, I said, you know what, Donnie? Sit back, call Sean. Nigga, I can't stand this nigga, man. But that's our grandson. You been there. You done that. So guess what? He got some anger somewhere. We need to find it. Hey, come get it now. Take him to Lancaster, sit in the backyard, cross the streets, whatever you need to do. We sit out as a group and talk. But you need to talk to him, Sean. Because this, I don't want to repeat this no fucking more. I don't. And that's my growth in that. I could have let him stay here. Of course, I'm not going to tell my grandson you can't come outside, or if the nigga see the nigga, whatever. I know because I know you came out. You came out ready. Sharing our blood on, so I know what you're doing. I'm like, oh, this nigga right now, sorry. Okay, this is okay. No. All right, no, stop. Everybody stop. Can I get on the phone and get everybody over here? Yes. I could have did that shit too. But no, I'm not going to do that. No, but use what I've learned through the situations I've been through to save him. And then, let's be clear, not just your grandson. No, right now, I need to see what's going on with him. Because he needs to learn how to control his emotions, his mouth, and his anger. That's what's going on right now. And that's growth for me. It is. It is. Understanding that there's an option of de-escalation. Yeah, come on. Like, my stand wrong. I told her, I'm sorry for that, but you kept bumping. He's already on 10, so you keep bumping. He's going to keep bumping to it, and whatever, bitch. Can I say this? Because you got to have the full context. Yeah, but you're a grown ass woman. Why are you talking to him? Why? Okay, because this is the thing. She's asking him, does he have a problem with her son? He get out the elevator. They get in the elevator. He's taking him cruise for 7 days. He's asking him. She's saying, telling him, die. He was mad dogging us. So you saying you as a grown woman, you said there alone time to look at him, approached a child about a look, and then you continue to the point where you talk about you can ready call somebody to fight him. What are we doing, grown-ups? What are we doing? You did call him. Yeah, oh yeah, actually did call people to come fight this 15-year-old kid. And again, understanding, like I said earlier in my check-in with you guys, the thing that disturbs me is I did gang intervention for a lot of years, and I know how fast something like that can escalate and go on for years and years, right? But when Di said to me, I lost a daughter, same shit, a daughter and a grandbaby because she was pregnant. Yeah. When Shantae was killed, I was the mayor's crisis response team. I was called to the scene. I didn't know that was my friend's baby. I didn't know that was her daughter. And she was giving somebody a ride until I got there. So I'm saying everything in your life can change in an instant. But what in the world is wrong with an adult? I wouldn't care if he rolled his eyes, sucked his teeth, or whatever. He didn't say nothing. He didn't touch nothing. And then when he get out the elevator and he's walking on his way, you still woofing behind him, telling him you getting ready to go get somebody to beat him up. What is wrong with you? And so I'm still mad about it. I'm mad. I had a great weekend, everything, but I'm mad about that because no moral foundation. Yeah, no moral foundation. But baby, whatever it is, it's dangerous. Extremely dangerous. It's dangerous because you were prepared to set off something you didn't know what you were setting off. Because then she gets her husband, and her husband starts talking about, yeah, because he walk around here like he all that. Walk around where? This baby was going to school, and on Friday he leave and go not come back until Monday. So what do? He go get his shit. Oh, we going. But why do we have to live like that again? We're trying to be better. So you're not talking about the mother. You're talking about the parent. The parent. Okay, so listen to, I know you hear yourself, but listen to yourself. So when we talk about no moral foundation, and so I don't know enough to continue the conversation, but in my work, in my role, I know enough to tell you they've been walking around that building with their asses on their shoulders in regards to your grandson and the fact that he keeps to himself and don't speak, absolutely over misunderstood. And they built this whole Pentagon complex about him that he probably doesn't even understand where it's coming from, but you can cut that tension with a sport. And inherently as a person, he can feel it. And that heightens his defensive stance to not say anything, to keep pushing, to keep himself out of trouble. But they become the agitators and the instigators as adults. And that is a highly toxic, highly combustible situation. And I'm just glad that you had the option and the good sense. We're talking about here. The issue here is growth. Growth from what we used to do to what we do now. Why? Because we have healed and we are moving forward as adults.
Because Diane could have been mad about her daughter because that was some horrible stuff that happened. And she could still have that in her to say, one day I'm going to pay somebody back for it. But that's horrible. Didn't I tell you guys about the girl who let her daughter fight the girl? They was fighting the girl at the Boys and Girls Club. I didn't understand that. Those are grown people. And why are you letting your kids fight? I don't understand this. Why? Why? What if the girl had pushed the other girl and the girl hit her head and had to go to jail for that. But that's the thing. It's too much happening in the world for our community to be at odds like that. It's too much in this world that's wrong right now and stuff.
And what's bad is oftentimes, so in my own family's personal history, my nephew lives in Texas, an open carry state. And my nephew had talked to me several times about him carrying this gun. And then he also talked about somebody who had said something or threatened him or his wife and this and that. And the next time I see him, it's on site, I'm taking off and all that. Okay. So I said to him one day, I said, baby, I'm going to ask you to not carry your gun. I'm going to ask you to not carry your gun, even though it's an open carry state. I said, because right now it sounds to me like you have more faith in that gun than you do in God. And 11 days later, he got into a situation, that same gun became an issue, and he went to prison for 2 years. So I understand. My thing was, that's how you see it go. But one of the things me and my cousin as kids used to say, you say you go whoop my ass. My question is, what you think I'm gonna be doing while you doing that? So while you, nephew, think you gonna beat the brakes off of somebody, what you think they gonna be doing while you're doing that? In this particular case, you can call somebody, we can call somebody. Everybody can call somebody. And we're doing this for what exactly? Because you said he was mad dogging? You a grown-ass woman with 4 kids, and you claim it was enough for you to approach a child that you know his grandmother?
But you just met him 2 weeks ago.
So you knew who he was.
And you was telling him, oh, you go to Jefferson? Oh, I couldn't let my son go to Jefferson. If the Mexicans is doing something to you up there, don't let them do nothing. You better be. You just met him. He never uttered a word, but he smiled the whole time you was talking to him. He never uttered a word.
So you know his parents. So why didn't you, as a responsible adult, go speak to the parents or the grandmother that you know?
But you're not. Thank you.
Because they're ignorant. Thank you. You're a ratchet, ignorant ass bitch, and that's the bottom line.
Hey, I tell him now, because what you ever
I'm gonna say that again. And listen, we are all responsible for our behavior. And everything can get blown out of proportion and out of hand so fast. And then what? Because again, you gonna call somebody, they gonna call somebody.
Yeah.
And now they got people behind them. You got people behind you, and they got people behind them. And now what do we have going on? And guess who gets hurt? Usually it's innocent bystanders. Usually it's people that don't have nothing to do with it. They have nothing to do with it. And they're the ones that get hurt. And so it's one of the reasons why we never let people hang out in front of our properties. Because I used to tell these guys, listen, you want to hang out in front of the property, but what's going to happen is when somebody come by here trying to shoot you, the bullet going to miss you and go through that glass, and one of my mothers coming in for work with her baby is going to be the one to catch the bullet. But the thing of it is that we have to get to a place where we grow, as Diane said, to the point where your natural instinct may kick in. Your natural instinct may be to do what you know how to do. But what growth is and maturity is saying, wait a minute, just because I'm pissed off don't make it right. Think beyond the first thought that comes to your head. Think beyond the first. You must ask yourself a series of why questions. So when you get mad enough to ask the child, you got a problem with me and my son? Okay, why? Why do I need to ask them that?
And he's in high school, he's in middle school. They go to 2 different schools.
So
it's not like to have any kind of interaction.
So the question again would be, why did you feel strongly enough that you needed to ask this kid, this high school kid, if he had a problem with your son? No, you got a problem. You got a problem. And the bottom line is you almost started something and see, because again, it can escalate to a place that it just doesn't need to go. And so in terms of growth, I'm serious when I say this, y'all. They don't have any idea how important it is that Diane has grown as much as she has. because it's the other side of it. She could have jumped in it. She could have took off. She could have took off. And that would have been unheard of. That wouldn't have been unheard of. Because why are you attacking my grandson? And let me just say this. I'm representing every grandmother I know. The grandkids is something different. Don't mess with my grandbabies. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all I heard on the phone. I didn't hear nothing else. I heard grandson, and I said, "Where are you?"
Tell me, Miss Tony, what's going to happen with the people messing with L? What's going on? Where you at? What are they going to do? Where they going? What's going to happen?
What is he doing on 27?
No comment.
Miss, what's going to happen when they mess with the grandbabies?
No comment.
Okay, I'm just saying. Dude, listen, I like them better than I like my son. Hold him to his face. Oh, yeah, no, I like them better than I like you. He didn't like that very much. But anyway, so I'm just saying, it just does things, and I didn't go into the whole story when I did my check-in, but I'm so glad that you want to talk about growth because it's very important. We have to know ourselves. We have to know our triggers. We have to know what's appropriate and what's not. And I just feel so proud of you for so many reasons. Because again, I know you. And I know that it could have went real bad. And it could still be ongoing. And I intend with my skills and my relationships to make sure that it doesn't go any further than what happens today. I'm going to make sure that in my capacity, several capacities that I hold, but I'm going to make sure that it doesn't extend beyond that. Why? Because it's not necessary. And it can lead to really bad things. Really bad things. And Di's already been through that. Di lost one child, a grandchild, and one in prison now doing so many years, they try not to never let him go. So, all behind bullshit. And I'm saying we don't need that. And so I'm going to make sure in several capacities that I have that this doesn't go any further than that. And I'm grateful that we had this forum. I'm grateful that Miss Cheryl, that day, you don't know how important it was that you told her. And I can hear your voice because I know how you do it. You know you was wrong, right? Yes, I kind of like that. I like that. Cheryl, she had a way. It was one of those times where her voice got low.
Yeah, and it went real slow. And I'm like,
yeah. What'd she say, Di?
you know, you was wrong, right?
Yeah. It was wrong, right?
Did you hear what I said?
And she said,
She
I
with the
don't
state.
need to tell people, but that was for real.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
because
it hit me with the real
Because
touch.
sometimes it just needs to be said in different spaces. We all might have that ability to tell one another, me to her, and so on, because of something within our own, something we've experienced, something we've witnessed, something we've been through, where we can provide that. And so at that particular moment, Cheryl seen something that she didn't like. And there's enough of an established relationship where she could tell me.
and the thing of it is, yes, it is right because as that tone, those folks, y'all that know her, y'all done heard that tone before. You know what I'm talking about. You know you was wrong, right? And like I act like I could hear it in my head.
So matter of fact,
I would say you did what you thought was the right thing. But if you did it at the time, it was right for you. But it was something, had to be something, because I never tell people they're wrong. But it had to be something in what she was saying that for real made me think, no, that wasn't.
And let me tell you what it was.
Let's stop the window.
It wasn't even that, Di. What it was is that was Yahweh's moment to teach you. See, he was getting ready to uproot some bullshit that you thought was real. You thought you being mad justified you breaking out windows. And she was like, no, that did not justify that. Just because you was mad. So we all need to understand, just because you're mad doesn't justify you committing a crime. It doesn't. And the growth is understanding that. The growth is, and that started you unwinding some stuff. Because you have been on your own journey, but that started unwinding some things about you that you didn't even realize you had messed up.
I didn't know.
But you wasn't right. You thought you were, but you were not right.
She wasn't happy with me.
I wasn't.
She has told me since then, it was a couple of days she was mad at you.
I
Not
wasn't
that.
talking to her no more. I was
Yeah. Why? Because she was mad. Look, she was mad, y'all.
She wasn't hear nothing I said.
And she was mad with you. She really was. But guess what? But to your credit, again, the growth.
Yeah, like I said, I know, like I said, back then, come on, man. Back then, if that would have happened, I would have been got on the phone. Hey, get up over here, baby. It's about to go down. Da, da. You're not showing him the right way. You're not showing him how to handle real situations. This is not a real situation, but it is a situation. But the main thing is a situation. And you got to show him how to handle situations, baby, because you're not gonna always be here. All right, bet. So I said, no, you come get your son and get him in the car and get him up out of here. I got the rest of this. Don't worry about that. Just get him up out of here. I got this. But see, you end up beating kids, baby. That's never been my thing. That's never been my thing. I discipline my kids, yeah, but I'm not gonna beat him, and I'm not gonna disrespect them either. Because guess what? I'm not gonna give him the opportunity to disrespect me. So we don't do that. I'm gonna bring this down, I'm gonna bring myself down, and you bring yourself down, then we can talk. Because I want to talk to you because there's something going on that I missed. Then.
And then I still, for me, cannot get past the fact that a grown woman
Get past it.
Yeah, yes.
Get past
Yeah,
it.
please.
What
Yeah.
you're doing, and I know you far outweigh the mental capacity. It is the indignation of the moment that you are stuck in, but you are expecting someone to be you.
You right, Miss Tony. You right, and I don't want to be true, but it's true because I told you I don't get that.
That's where I come from, and I'm not on that level of the highest of the IQs, but I understand my IQ and I understand the complexity of my brain, and not everybody meets me there. And so I know sometimes I have to think about, hey, they might not be working with what you're working with. They might not also have the skill sets that you have and the training and education that you've had been afforded to be able to reason because you know you're ignorant.
Yeah.
So what have you done to refine yourself, and why are you not utilizing those skills? And those are some of the things that I think of when I get mad. And then I go to, okay, now what's the situation? Because my first thought is, find that bitch because she coming. She coming.
And that's
looking
what
for
I'm
a
saying.
reason.
Because I
And
ended up
yeah.
talking to she, and you still telling me about, oh, he was rude, he was disrespectful, he was this, he was that. But you never once thought about, why was your daughter talking to him? But I'm gonna tell you what I do though. Let me tell you something, sweetie. What I've learned, what I've been through, I know exactly what to do for mine. And my main goal is to save my grandson. So what I did was call his grandfather. A motherfucker I can't stand, but I called him.
Because he's part of the community, whether you like it or not.
That's my
He's
daughter.
part of
But I tell him what I say. I tell him stuff that when it comes to saving my grandson, I got people that's here now. He ain't locked up no more. He here now.
Yes, he is.
So guess what? I'm gonna
And he's
take
good at that.
yeah, hello.
Of all the shit
Yes.
you may say,
Yes.
hey, wait, but
Yes.
he's good
That's
at
what
that
I-
gang intervention.
Yes, I have somebody here to help me.
I see.
So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna call him to come get him. I'm gonna do the steps that I've learned to do for the mistakes I've made. Now your whole tone want to switch. No, I'm over the conversation, but I want you to understand where I'm coming from. Because I could have went there with you, your daughter, and anybody else that morning, because I don't really care like that much. It's about him. It's not about me. See, it's about him.
And your grandkids. Cause see, whatever y'all think, everybody got somebody. And this is the thing again. So Tony, okay, I'm gonna get over. Just saying, well, he was disrespectful.
I'm caring about minds.
Number one,
I don't have no one cares.
number one, the grandmother wasn't there. Okay, nobody in this room is saying that she was there. So the first fact is, why did your daughter think it necessary to even approach him? Because you weren't there. And guess what? You telling me that he was disrespectful is just as third hand as you telling me why your daughter thought it was okay to ask that question.
Was on the phone.
It doesn't matter. But she can't
That's what I'm
answer
saying,
my
that's
point.
right.
She can't answer either one of those questions.
Correct.
That's my point.
Yeah.
And so in my training, you might not like it, but when I get down to the root, you, as the grandmother, you weren't even there. So you're getting third hand accounts of what took place. I don't even want to hear from you what took place. But I do want to mediate with you. I do want to mediate with you because you're over here and I'm over here, and both of our families are on 12 of this 10. So, as grandmother to grandmother, I do want to mediate with you. But first of all, we got to get down to the facts of the case or the situation of what had happened, right? And that comes from your daughter, hearing her version, because there's always two sides. There's her
Absolutely.
version. And after listening to her version, my first question, so tell me, why was it necessary for you to stop him?
That's I did. And that's what I and you keep saying no because we was getting on the elevator. Okay, Dolly, stop because it's gonna make me mad because you're rambling and I don't like that. You know what you said?
I understand because rambling is
You trying to make us some shit. And
right. Rambling is white.
I'm like, okay, you know what? Okay. So that's what I'm like, okay, but wait, you go in the house. You just go in the house. But you steady going and going.
And he was already leaving. And he was off the elevator on his way to his apartment, and she's talking behind him, threatening that she's gonna call somebody to come be what?
Yeah, no problem. I do want to commend you, Diane, for handling that, or Miss Diane, the way you handle it. I do think we often talk about the four agreements, and sometimes when you're going through volatile situations, it's easy to forget a lot of the lessons that we've learned. You have life experience. Those people don't have life experience, but we do have knowledge. And I do think one of the four agreements that we often talk about is don't take it personal. And so clearly, everything that happened today had nothing to do with your grandson. It had all to do with what they probably are going through in life, the issues that they're having, challenges, frustrations, disappointment, jealousy, you name it. That's them, and it manifests itself as having a conversation with their grandson and trying to agitate and escalate. And so you did the right thing by removing yourself from this situation. But I do think if I could talk to your grandson ever, what I would tell him is don't even allow it to be emotional, because you need to understand that what happened today had nothing to do with you, and you need to remove yourself from those situations, because to your grandma's point, it can escalate to a point of no return. And it doesn't need to if you start with the foundation of understanding, like, all right, you are the one who has the problem. So clearly, I'm going to remove myself from this situation because I don't have anything to do with what you got going on. And that's the only thing I just wanted to mention. But I think I know you, Miss Noreen, enough to know how you handle issues. It will be unemotional. But I try to remind myself, even when I was locked up, try to remind myself, like, hey, whatever people got going on, I just saw them yelling on the phone with their family. And it's not surprising that they're ready to crash out. A guy just found out his lady is pregnant by another guy. And it's not surprising that he's about to go to the hole because he's pissed off about some ramen noodles. And so most of the time, it just has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them.
That's true, because most of the time it doesn't. It's about how you feel about your ratchet ass self. And I'm just gonna say that, okay? And I said that before. But yeah, she
And you know
ratchet.
what's so crazy? I had just looked at that on the second page of why last night.
Wow, in the book.
Yes.
Wow.
And I was
That's
like,
something.
oh, this is some real.
Yeah.
So her even going to the book is her growing, right?
Yes.
Because she didn't have to pick the book up.
That's
But when
it.
he's saying that she removed herself, she removed herself in a way that also is teaching someone else a lesson.
Yeah.
To explain why I didn't and what I'm doing now, how I used to be. Somebody else says, darn, I just thought I had to be the same way all the time.
Yeah.
And some people don't grow.
Yeah.
Something happened and they said, hey, so-and-so said he getting ready to roll up on you. I'm thinking, like, why in the world are they 60 years old still living that life? Why? Why would you let your child fight somebody? I have no understanding. So what's wrong with your daughter? Why she be looking at me like that? The girl 19, the girl is 13. What is that?
Play touch.
Okay.
Yeah,
And now what?
everybody trying to play tough, but you keep saying, well, my kids don't play about me. My kids ain't gonna play about nobody disrespect me. Who disrespected you?
That's the thing.
Who did? But Baby White did not disrespect you. He said, whatever, bitch.
He's walking away
Yeah,
from you.
He's way over there. We way out here. We on the end of the curve. at the end of the driveway. He's inside of the building, inside with a piece of glass, waiting for the elevator to open.
And you still talking.
And you still talking.
And how much you gonna get somebody to beat him up?
And I know, okay, so he just said, whatever, bitch.
Yeah, but
What do you want me to say?
Say it again, me.
So what I was saying is, then more than likely, there was a situation where she got disrespected by her husband or her boyfriend or her boss, or somebody got it off, and she didn't have the strength or the capacity to fend that conversation with an adult. And so then all of a sudden it carries itself, it festers. And then an hour later or 2 hours later, it manifests itself against any person that was
Or
walking.
a lifetime, okay, of being
Yep.
disrespected.
But it
Right?
could have
A
been me.
lifetime of
If
being
I was coming out of the
disrespected, because there's
elevator.
that possibility also.
You're lying, you keep having he's a child, he's a child, he's a child, he's a child. But you're acting more than a child than he is.
Yeah.
But if I was coming out of the
Where
elevator,
was
it
your
could have been.
understanding of the fact that he was a child when you decided to approach him or ask him a question? Why do you? Because this would be my thing. Why wouldn't you, if you felt like he was mad dogging your son, so baby, how you doing today? Why wasn't that your question? Why, if you thought that he was mad dogging and doing something, why didn't you, as the adult,
Go to an adult.
go to, first of all, just in the moment, if nothing else, don't say nothing. But if you had to ask him a question, why didn't you ask, baby, you okay?
Hey, Nori, can I ask you a
I
question?
think different.
I do think, though, I don't know the people, obviously, and I understand the situation is sensitive, and obviously I care about Baby Boo. But I do think at some point, with Diane's knowledge, or Miss Diane's knowledge and your knowledge, I do think those are the type of people that we do need to teach and try to help and say, hey, shit popped off 2 days ago or 3 days ago. We're going to get you kicked out, but separately, just so you know, this is how this could have turned out. There is a real life experience here that you were unaware of, that I want to share with you a story. Allow me to share a story with you, because hopefully this won't happen again. Hopefully you will not escalate it at the next place that you are, and then eventually something ends up happening with your family or a loved one. Because I do think that we're never too late to learn. But I do think if at any point in an exit interview or exit meeting or something like that, if you could say, hey, could you just allow me to humor you with a story? I want to share with you a real experience that my employee has had and my friend has had that may save your kid's life one day.
And what I was gonna say though is that I honestly believe though that your grandson is already personal for him in that way. And if he doesn't know the full story of what happened to his aunt, this would be a good time to explain it, like Bea saying, this is why I would not allow you to fight. It's a teaching moment for him as well.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a good thing, because your family's already taken the kind of loss that you don't need to take anymore. Y'all don't have no more losses to give behind bullshit. But very clearly explaining to him that he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't start this mess. Now, when he said, whatever, bitch,
He said,
yeah, that was wrong. That's what I'm saying.
and take a tone for and take
Yeah, so
Take accountability for that portion of it, right? Take accountability. And I understand it because, listen, even so, I'm gonna tell you all a funny story when I was a kid. So we used to have what was called, what did we call it? The night before Thanksgiving. Before Halloween. Mischief night. And so there was this man, he had a Mustang. They had a car club. First car club I ever heard of was a Mustang club. And he used to tell, and what we used to do is we used to go around and write on people's window with a bar of soap. We would write all over their car with a bar of soap, right? And so he told us, do not write on my damn car with no soap. He told all the kids that before Mischief Night even came. But you know what that meant to the kids. That's the first car.
Yep.
We gonna write on is his mother car, right? So of course, we get busted riding on his car. And he says to me, I'm gonna beat your motherfucking ass. Okay. So I run and I go home, right? Because now I think he must have lived 4 doors from us at most, right? So I go back home and then he comes to my house and he tells my mother, And my mother said, I told y'all not to mess with that bad car, but again, we kids. I may be 11 or 12. You know that it's so, come on, whatever, right? So my mother's upstairs and I said, he told me he was going to kick my MF and A. She said, he said, what? What? So now she turned on him. You still saying? Because she's, wait a minute now. This is soap on a car you can wash off, right? Now listen, the bottom line is this though. As a parent, she was checking me on my part wrong. And she punished me. I got put on punishment for that. I didn't get off scot-free. She put me on punishment. But the bottom line is that there was an adult in the situation, and instead of cussing me, all he had to do was go tell my mother. And she probably would have did more than what she did at the time. He probably saved me some trouble. But the reason I bring it up is to say this. You must hold your kids accountable. This is how our children learn responsibility. This is how they learn how to make decisions. This is how they learn to control their impulse. Your grandson is 15. That is at the height of impulsivity. In terms of development with children, ain't nothing more impulsive than a 15-year-old, except maybe a 14-year-old.
But that's another thing, okay, in the situation. Man, you on the phone with her. Why you not asking her why she talking to him?
Yeah.
You her mother. Why are you talking to him?
Yeah.
That's not a conversation y'all had.
No. But which is probably why her daughter was even doing what she was doing in the first place. In other words, no home training.
My kids get mad at me real quick because I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
I want to know the truth
Yes.
before I enter into this field. And trust me, I'm Mama Bear and I'm making shit sideways. But I want to know exactly what it is that I'm walking into and what role or part that you play before I go over here and claw these people.
Yeah, because my mother's thing was this. And I love this about my mom. My mom used to say, I'll fight the fight. You just better be right when I get there. In other words, don't have me coming over here having to deal with it and you cock out wrong. We have to teach them accountability for their behavior, because if you don't teach them and allow them to make decisions and suffer consequences as children, they carry that irresponsibility and lack of accountability and entitlement into adulthood. I would look at his behavior and I would ask myself, what is this going to look like in a 32-year-old man? What is this going to look if he was throwing a tantrum? What's this going to look like at 16? Because as a parent, our job is to raise adults. We always say we raise the kids. No, what you're trying to do is raise adults. Our responsibility is to train them and teach them to be adults. So a lot of parents, they don't want their children to experience anything. They don't want them to have any hardships. They don't want their feelings hurt. But then expect them miraculously at 18 to be able to cope with being told no, to be able to handle disappointment, to know how to make good decisions, to balance a checkbook.
Genocide is so high. Genocide is so high.
Exactly. So we have to teach children how to be adults. My ex said to me one time, how do you teach a baby? How do you teach a baby to be a baby? I don't know. Exactly, because you don't. What you're trying to teach them is how to be an adult. That's our responsibility. Teaching them to cope, teaching them to control their emotions, at least get them in check. Can you feel what you feel? Did he have the right to feel offended that this woman is approaching him? Yes, he did. So now how could you have handled that better? Because your grandson's really smart, okay?
I told myself, you know what?
And so what I would like to know is what I would like to know is in hindsight for him, looking back on it, what does he think he could have done differently? So then you can correct him and you can impart your values into him. That's what we're supposed to do as parents. And grandparents, we the bonus. We the bonus, because I get to impart unto my granddaughters those things that are important to me as a woman, right? But I also get to spoil them like the Dickens and send them home to their mom and daddy, because I like them. So at the end of the day, I thank you guys for letting us go on this journey with this conversation because the growth is important. The growth is important. I can tell you in no uncertain terms, based on all of the people involved in this, and I'm about on both sides, this could have been horrible. They all got people to call. They all got people that love them dearly. They all got people ready to ride for them. On both sides. I know these people. I've known them for years. I've known since the early 90s. Since the 90s. Gave her first job. These are all people that I care about. All of them. But I understand what we're working with, and I understand from a perspective of violence reduction and violence prevention that there's more conversation that needs to be had about this. Because everybody needs to understand, because my position is to make sure with the skills that I have and the people that I know, that this doesn't escalate. That when her Di's grandson comes back, he doesn't have to look over his shoulder and he doesn't start looking at other people and trying to get back at them either. Okay? The bottom line is it needs to stop where it is. That's the goal, right? Let it end today how it ended. That's it. And grown-ups act like grown-ups. See, so because the mother, I've known her since she was a little girl. Since she was younger than Diane's grandson. So I'm saying, for me, I'm mad about it because why would she do what she did? And Tony, I ain't gonna get over it, I promise. I am. By tomorrow morning, I'm gonna wake up. Because you know why? Because you told me right. You checked me.
And no accountability from the adults whatsoever. From where I'm sitting, and I'm sure I haven't heard it all, but I have heard enough to say there's no accountability from the adults in the situation, and the entire 100% has been placed on the shoulders of the 15-year-old, which is
and the only adult that acted like an adult was this one here, based on growth from being here with us. Telling her just because she was mad didn't justify her acting the damn fool and committing felonies, because she committed a whole bunch of felonies. So we don't do that anymore. I need y'all to know, but hey, I'm going to say to everybody that can hear, don't push a motherfucker, okay? Don't do it unnecessarily because everybody's this close. You don't know what somebody's going through. You don't know, and it's not fair to anybody. Okay. And so nobody deserves a tragedy over Mad Dog. What is that? Again, I appreciate you guys. And let me see, because I did have this one topic and I need to at least touch on. And it's so crazy because what I had decided was I wanted to talk to us about getting to know ourselves and checking our baggage. Okay. Understanding and identifying our own baggage. Okay. And so what I say is examine the differences between what you say you want and what you respond to, accept, and participate in. This alone is an eye-opening exercise. Learn how to identify things that have been traumatic, that have left scars, and that cause you to react or perceive the motives of others without proof or confirmation that those perceptions are true or real. In short, get to know and acknowledge your baggage. You carry it everywhere you go and into every situation. You might as well understand it and not let it derail your hopes and dreams. Recognize that you are responsible to manage your baggage. You talked about earlier about with the 4 agreements and how this person may have whatever was going on with them and how they felt. Those things were things that they brought to this situation that had nothing to do with Di's grandson. So that's her baggage, right? Again, how is it that a child looking at me could make me even want to respond, right? So you're responsible. It's not the responsibility of the people that you are in relationships with, whether it's business or personal, to navigate your baggage. It is not other people's responsibility to know, understand, and adjust to your insecurities flaws and post-trauma stress. The world doesn't have to say, okay, you've been through some stuff, and so we got to tiptoe around all of your trauma and you flying off the handle every time you feel like it, just because we know you've been to prison. No, we know you was traumatized.
I was.
And nobody's saying that you don't have a right to feel what you feel, but you don't have a right to bleed on people that didn't cut you. And again, get our baggage together. For example, you managed your baggage so well today. High five. You managed your baggage today. How do I know that? Because we ain't got time everywhere. You ain't in jail right now. Okay? That's how I know. Because guess what? The pain and the trauma from losing your daughter the way you did, and under the circumstance that you did, could have triggered it and had you calling everybody. Listen, y'all don't even know how many people she could call with a phone call and set it off. And I ain't talking the movie. But the growth beyond your baggage, you didn't make anybody else responsible for your baggage today, sweetie.
No, I did not. And I'm proud of myself.
You bore it, you handled it, and you managed it.
Even though they kept pushing, no, we're not doing nothing.
And I heard you. And then I heard the people around coming, hey, what's up? What's going on?
Nothing.
Because by now the word had traveled a couple places, and now other people coming.
Nothing. It's okay.
And it's no. And I'm listening to you go, no, there's nothing going on. You go do what you're supposed to be doing. No, there's nothing going on.
He's already in the house. He's straight. That's all.
So at the end of the day, again, those things are your responsibility. The only way to take responsibility for your baggage is to acknowledge that they exist, that those things exist. If someone chooses to adjust to your baggage, it's because they choose to, and it's a gift usually born out of love for you. So I accept your trauma, I accept your baggage because I love you. But it's not because they're obligated or responsible to. Nobody has to do that. It's not, but I make room for the fact that you become traumatized or so I was dating a guy and he had done some time and he had a problem in crowds and it would trigger him in such a way his hands would start to shake and different things would happen. I made space for that, right? I made space for him for that. It wasn't my responsibility though. It was out of love for him that I would make sure that if we had to go in crowds, it was only for a real good reason. So if a person is willing to deal with your past trauma, it is not their responsibility. Understand it usually comes from a place of love. So you know that you're fucked up, but that's just how I am. You know that you're out of pocket. And you know you're flying off the handle for no reason. But that's just how I am. And guess what? You need to be different. Everybody doesn't have to adjust to your mess. Okay? Cherish the fact that they do and do your part to minimize the hard work required to work through somebody else's baggage. Because it's hard work. And cherish the fact that the people that do that for you do it because they love you. And do not expect that they should just put up with all of your unhealthy baggage and trauma. And so what I need to do is I need to ask the folks online if you can, any last comments, any thoughts about the topic, anything you guys can share and add for those that may see this later that may help somebody along the way, please. In the room as well, anybody, I want checkouts, I want to know what people got from tonight and anything they think they can use.
What I want to say is don't be afraid of your growth when you see it and feel it in real time. Don't be afraid of it. It's scary because I was getting pulled, but I can feel my growth was pushing me more. Just stay right here. And I can use my words clearly. I didn't use not one curse word. That was crazy. I didn't use not one curse word. Not one.
I don't believe it.
I didn't. Yeah, you call say I didn't use not one curse word. Not one. All I kept saying was, go in the house. I got this. When Sean came to get Sean, take him, go ahead. I got this. I got it. but I used my words and I wasn't afraid of what I was feeling. That was growth. I didn't know what it was at the moment, but now I do. Don't be afraid of your growth.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Anybody else?
I'm absolutely and proud is not a proud is a every time they kind of I'm proud of you, I'm proud of you. It's more for Diane. I'm happy and pleased for the growth that she's seeing is there. And that some people growing don't even know they're growing and they slip back. But beautiful. Thank you.
Okay, Miss Amy, go ahead, sweetie.
Okay, I just enjoyed everything tonight because I haven't been a lot. I just heard a lot that's really just insight because I have a grandson and things that I need to just was looking at. So I really appreciate tonight. It was awesome.
Wonderful, thank you. Miss Tabitha?
I enjoyed tonight as well. I'm sorry, I'm working, so I'm trying to.
Multitasking.
Yes. Yeah, tonight's
here,
discussion.
sweetie.
Yes, I be trying to make it on most nights, but driving for a living, I kind of have to keep my eyes on the road.
We appreciate that. And
Yeah,
what you say.
but I am a great multitasker. But I really enjoyed tonight's discussion, and I was listening to the same thing that BC had said. People have to really get to a place to where they learn themselves, because a lot of times people really are pushing off their bad energy and anger onto other people that don't have nothing to do with them because they're not dealing with issues that's going on within themselves. And for me, that was like my biggest thing as far as me growing and coming into myself, was for me to actually look into the mirror and take a look at all of myself, the ugliness included. And in me doing that, I realized that it takes a lot of courage to do that, to be able to face yourself and admit that you are messed up in A, B, C, D, and all the way to Z areas, to know where you have to start to begin your healing. And a lot of people like to stay in denial because they're afraid to see themselves for what they really are, because they know if they see themselves, then they have to start dealing with themselves. So I think a lot of it comes back to personal identity. Until a person truly learns who they are, then the only thing they can keep on pushing off on other people is this mask of themselves that they have created. So, yeah.
That's so powerful. Everything you said was so powerful. And I have to tell you, I say it all the time here, that the most painful day in my life was the day I had to look at myself in the mirror and acknowledge that the reason I was in all that pain I was in was my fault. And part of it was because what I participated in, but there were other things, insecurities that I had never acknowledged that I had. Those were the things, and that was the ugly that I saw. I was like, ooh. So even when you said it, like, I was like, it still made me go, ooh, a little bit.
Yes,
So, but that's what's on the other side of that, though. It's growth. It's growth.
It's growth, and it feels so
Yes.
good. I'm
It
telling you, I wouldn't
does.
go back to that old me for nobody. It's just not gonna happen. I don't ever want to see that version of Tabitha again. No,
Never.
no, I'm loving where I'm at because I have to be an example. I have 2 adult children that I have left. I lost one 4 years ago, and then I have 5 grandchildren. So I got these little babies that are the next generation of us. So we got to be in a good place to be able to teach them something. We can't be out here in the streets fighting with our kids. What we look like out here doing it, out there side by side with them on the best foolishness that we can come up with in the world. And then we wondering why we killing off our own race. We need to start with self first. We need to look into our own homes, look into our own selves, and look within ourselves first. And we do that, we'll actually be able to put some togetherness back into our communities that we don't need nobody else to tell us how to put together. We'll be able to do it ourselves. We wouldn't need other people to say, hey, y'all need to get together. You all need to build your. We'll automatically do that when we learn who we are and begin to teach that truth of who we are to our next generation, to our grandbabies.
That conversation in the space. Please, if you feel something, just unmute and start talking. Okay?
Okay.
Because everything you said is so powerful. And I feel like you really encapsulated the whole night in your topic, in your comments.
Yeah, so one, I love what she just said. So very powerful. I think there are a couple of things I just would think about. If we can learn how to remove emotion away from a lot of conversations, I think it would de-escalate many things, right? And so the moment emotion starts to intermingle with everything that's going on, I think it escalates. And so I'm Diane, you mentioned don't be afraid of when you grow, but I think when you grow, it should be celebrated because I think that means that we've learned the lessons that God intended us to learn. And then if we can not only learn for ourselves, but share with our kids and our grandkids and people we love, it makes it even more of a lesson learned because it has a ripple effect beyond that. And there was a tractor trailer behind me in the fast lane blowing his horn because I wasn't going fast enough. And I thought to myself, there's so many things wrong about this situation where one, you shouldn't even be in this lane. Two, you shouldn't be blowing your horn because I'm still going above the speed limit. But instead of me flipping them off and blowing my horn or anything like that, what I just did was I pulled aside, I recorded his MC number and reported it. Because it wasn't emotional for me. It was more so just saying, you are putting people's lives at risk. I'm an operating professional, so I know that very well. And so I do think when we have those moments, we should be proud and we should celebrate it because it's a major accomplishment.
Thank you, Mr. Burnett. You sweetie.
Yeah, it was a great topic, and I hope that probably can reach somebody to let them know if they're struggling with that part in their life. They like the growth is possible.
Yeah. Tony, did you have a chance to check out? Do you have anything?
No, I don't have anything to add. I think so.
Okay.
Great topic as well.
Wonderful. Thank you, Di, for the growth, and thank you for allowing your personal circumstance to potentially be a teaching moment for others as to how to fix it. So this is Again Free to Heal. We're on YouTube and we're on all social media sites, Instagram. Check us out.
Please.
And if you have any comments, make comments and everything. Let us know if there are topics you want us to talk about. Please let us know. And we absolutely thank you. We'll see you guys next week on another session of Free to Heal.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.